Welcome to Good Morning with Danielle. I'm your local real estate agent, Danielle. Today I have Garrett Shingler here. He is a realtor in our office. We're actually going to discuss how he moved to York from where?
Frostburg, Maryland.
Frostburg, Maryland, to start a business here as a realtor about a year ago. Garrett, what can you say about your move, and is it walking into this business what you expected?
In different scenarios, yes, and in different scenarios, definitely not. It's definitely, a little chaotic like I thought it was going to be, but there's different things that you run into that you just can't really plan for.
Okay. So when you say chaotic, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's definitely a really busy market, so, it's not one of those things where you just slowly come in, like you walk in and you are just gone.
Yeah, busy right off the start.
Extremely busy.
Well, how did you get started in real estate?
So a few years back, I had actually started with a land development company, and I worked with them for quite some time. And at one point, the regional manager came in and she just looked at me and she's like, "We're getting you licensed," and I was like, "All right, this is happening."
Okay.
And then I just continued to do marketing and worked as a real estate assistant for probably 2 years, and then finally decided to start my own thing, and here I am.
Okay. Well, what are some of the things that you could recommend to people that are moving from their hometown far away in today's market?
Get a moving truck.
Moving truck?
Get a moving truck.
Okay.
No, seriously, you definitely want to make sure that you are looking in one general area. You don't want to be all over the place. You want to make sure that you have a local lender in that area. That way, whenever you do want to go for that loan, that person's right there. They're not back in your hometown.
What are some of the biggest concerns that you've heard from your clients recently?
I think the biggest concern that we're hearing right now is the economy. People are scared over the economy with the real estate market, scared that the market's going to actually crash. I try to reassure people that that's not going to happen. A lot of top economists are actually thinking that the market's going to basically explode, that the economy is going to improve. We're not going to go through a depression.
Okay.
So that's something I'm definitely recommending to people, telling them that this is what's happening. I know you're hearing this, but this is what's happening on this side of things.
So in this market, you're thinking, you heard what I've heard, that it's going to be like this for at least 2 to 4 years.
It's going to be like this for 2 to 4 years, if not more. I don't see much changing with it. And something I try and tell people is, you don't know what's going to happen after the market does change. I don't know that, you don't know that. So you want to move, you want to buy a house, you only live once. Don't be scared to not do something that you want to do because you're scared of a competition.
Yeah.
The worst that a seller's going to say to you is, we want to go with a different offer, or it just might take you a couple times, but your house you're still going to want to be in your house.
Right. So what would you say has been your hardest transaction so far this year? We're not too far into it.
Well, I don't really know if I can say this year. So right before Christmas, I had a issue where we were getting ready to settle. I was working with a family. They had a little one, not even a year old, and they were also due. They had already given in their notice for their apartment. 2 days before we were supposed to settle, the seller completely backed out on us.
Oh, wow.
So we did get it figured out. I was on them about definitely speaking with their landlord, making sure that we could keep them in there for a little bit, or trying to figure out if we can move them in with their parents. I actually still have them under contract right now. So That was probably the hardest situation I've dealt with, a little emotional too, because it was like right before Christmas, had a little baby, had another baby on the way, and I'm just standing there like, not even understanding what I could do at that point.
Right. Is there anything major right now that you're having trouble with that you may be able to help other sellers and buyers out with?
Yeah, I think probably the hardest thing, so I've been working with a couple now for quite some time. I'm selling their house in Maryland and helping them move to PA, but they have a contingency that they have to sell their home to be able to settle on their next home. So I got them under contract with their new home, but I couldn't get their buyer on their home. And then it reversed. and then they lost that house, and then I had them under contract with their house that they're selling, and then it reversed again.
Okay.
So it's been an ongoing process. It's been incredibly stressful. Something that we decided to do was to do a rent back.
Okay.
So that way whenever they settle, we have those rights that people can kind of stay in their homes just a little bit longer until the other person can settle. So that option's pretty great that we're able to do
That is a great option, yeah, because it works for both sides too.
It does, because the sellers actually, not my seller, but the seller that we're purchasing from, they are in the same situation.
Okay.
So we're offering them a rent back as well. So it's kind of good. People get scared of those situations, but if you can find that mutual situation, like, hey, my buyer's going through this problem, and you can find a seller that's going through the same thing, you have that mutual respect and mutual understanding of what's going on. So
Right.
those are really good situations to go after, actually.
Absolutely. So now, what would you say has been your most embarrassing things that have happened to you while meeting with a client?
Oh God. I don't even know where to start with that one. Okay, so my most recent one, I was showing a field in one of those snowstorms that we had a couple weeks back.
Yes, yes.
And we had to like walk down through this like church parking lot, and I went to step through because we had to like hike down through the woods. And I went to step, and I went to grab a hold of a branch, and the branch broke.
Okay.
And I slipped and just completely slipped down the hill.
Okay.
And this is my first time ever meeting these people too. So
Okay.
they had their two kids there looking at me, and both the wife and husband, they're just standing there, and they just watch me slide down the hill like this, and I'm like, I did hear back from them though.
Okay.
I did, yeah, we're still working together.
Oh, good.
So it worked
So
out.
apparently you made an impression.
Oh, I was so embarrassed. It was really embarrassing.
It must be something that all realtors do, because I have done it myself, except, so a recommendation I have for people who are selling a home, if you have a dog, please clean up your yard. I was walking through the yard with a client, and I literally slipped on dog droppings. Luckily I caught myself, but I did slip in the backyard in something like that. Well, then you got to clean off your shoe because you don't want to walk back through their
Right.
house. So yes, I did do that with one of my clients as well. So it must be a common thing for realtors to do.
Yeah,
It is embarrassing.
it's really
but,
embarrassing. Like
yeah.
I've hit my head in basements before.
Well, you are pretty tall.
It's really unbalancing. That's like the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Super embarrassing when it happens, but if you can get your clients to laugh and you can build that rapport with them,
Yeah.
it's even better, because everybody does stupid things. I've seen clients do things. I had a client that, they slipped, but I was more concerned. They just kind of watched me go down the toilet, basically.
Oh my God. Well, now on the other end then, have you showed any homes that have given you the chills, or kind of was a little creepy?
Yeah, so I've shown probably I'll go with the creepiest one recent that I had. So I was showing an old farm property, and the owner had died, okay?
Okay.
I don't look into that, it's none of my business, I'm just there to share the house and try and sell the house, okay?
Yes, yes.
So we're walking the farm and everything else. We go through the house, everything looks good, and we go out to the barn, and there was a rope hanging from the ceiling. And I saw that, and I was like, oh no.
No.
I was like, and my buyers, and I never heard from them again after that.
Really?
Yeah, they never called me back after that. But they asked me, they were like, so is this how he died? And I'm just like, I didn't even know what to say.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about creepy?
Well,
I got
you
chills
would
up my
reply,
back.
you don't know, obviously, because
Yeah, so
you don't. It could have
was,
been something just,
It was probably just something. I
A
mean,
rope, just-
but it's just it's creepy that the guy died, and then you go in this random garage on the property, and there's a hanging rope. So
yeah.
I
mean,
did-
it could have just been holding something,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I mean,
you never know.
there's definitely some creepy houses you go into. Some of them are, and it's probably just an old mindset thing. But
Yeah.
you go into some of these houses, and they're really old fashioned. They got that unique rustic design to them,
Right.
and then
Well, in Pennsylvania, we have a lot of old homes.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean, a
sometimes
lot
you
of
just
things
feel-
that happen in some of these
You
homes.
just feel kind of weird sometimes, but I mean, I've never seen anything or anything like that, so
Yeah,
that's
well,
a plus. I think if I started seeing stuff in the houses, I'd probably be looking for a different career.
Well, and I think that's what I love about being a realtor is that we get to go into people's homes and see how things are designed, see how they've remodeled things, because you can even see pictures of what it used to be like when you see old listings and things like that. But just experiencing, because we have a lot of homes, I've showed some myself that are in the 1800s, just
Right.
seeing a layout of a home that from that era, just to see how they lived and things.
It's really great
yes.
whenever you have somebody that buys it too and they bring it back to life.
Yes.
Like if you have a house that was built in, the late 1800s or something, and somebody goes in there and they restain that wood, they sand it down, like it brings the house back to life.
Yes.
Personally, I like houses like that. That's my kind of house. But everybody, of course, has their own choice with that too. Because the newer houses are nice too.
Right,
I feel like the older ones they've got character to
Their
them.
character,
Yeah.
Yep.
As long
absolutely.
as they're not, creepy.
yes. Well, it was great talking with you today,
Yeah,
Garrett. What is a good way to get a hold of you?
So you can call or email me. My contact information will be below. Just give me a shout. You can even text me if you want, if you have any kinds of questions, and I look forward to speaking with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining
All right.
me
Hey,
today.
thanks for having
and
me.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.
Bye.